Hello, this is Casey from the Kenton County Public Library here in Covington in our local history and genealogy branch. And once again, we're doing another video in our Adventures in the Archive series. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a collection a lot of people might not be familiar with. This is from the, remember the name here, the Senior Services of Northern Kentucky. That's a mouthful collection. Senior Services in Northern Kentucky was a group that was founded around 1962 from the United Way and Trinity Church here in Covington. They did a lot of stuff for senior citizens in the area, providing different meals for them, classes on nutrition, things like that, transportation, a variety of stuff for the community for senior citizens living in the Northern Kentucky area. Unfortunately, they disbanded in 2018, I believe, yeah. So this collection was donated to us from Barb Johnson in October of 2018, and it's a really great resource in terms of genealogy information. There's lots of names on documents like this, lots of photographs, so I'm going to go a little bit over what the collection entails and how that might help you in your genealogy and how you might help us get some names on these images as well. So just to start, a lot of the collection is some photographs that were collected over the years from the group. As I mentioned before, some of these images, they don't have names. This has a couple names on it, but a lot of the folders that were processed of scrapbooks, a lot of the pictures that were taken out, there's no identification on it. So we were really hoping that we can get a couple of these images scanned and put onto our social media. And maybe if you know someone that, took advantage of this group during, the 80s, 90s, when they were really popular, when a lot of these images were taken, if you know, if a person that went there, if these images look familiar to you, if a face looks familiar, please let us know on social media when some of these images go up and give us some clues so we can identify some of these folks. And hopefully other people can maybe find those names and help them with their genealogy as well. So again, a lot of really fun photographs as well, different outings from the group. I believe some of these were taken from like a luau that they had, so people were dressed up in Hawaiian shirts, sleighs, and stuff like that, so that's always fun to look through. A couple were from Christmas as well, some art classes. Let's see, there's a couple here that I thought were kind of interesting. This is from NKU History Tour. So they did a little tour of the Northern Kentucky area, some history behind it, I believe. So that's kind of a cool tie into the department. And again, not any names on the back, but lots of really clear photographs of faces. So we love to put those online and see if anybody can identify these ladies. And just for fun, when I was looking through some of these folders of images, I thought this was really funny. I'm not really sure why everyone's grandmother in like the 90s wanted to make little decorative cases for their tissue boxes of tissues. Maybe they thought they were super ugly and had to hide them, but I know my grandma had tons of these. I know a lot of other people probably of a certain age had these as well, so I just thought it was kind of funny. They kind of showed their crafting projects, which I'm sure for people of a certain age, these look very familiar, so that might also be kind of a fun little social media thing as well to put those online. The next item that I thought was kind of good for genealogy purposes, this was a big scrapbook that was compiled over the years. This actually starts out on their very first opening day of the group. So again, there are some images here that don't have any names attached, but it would be great to figure out who some of these folks were. There's also a lot of newspaper clippings with this as well. Personally, when I'm working with a collection, I kind of see newspapers and I think, oh, we have all that online to begin with, but I will say for the scrapbook, it's actually really helpful. They have it all kind of in a chronological order, and all the newspaper clippings actually mention people that were in this group, so in terms of research, it's actually kind of helpful to have that there, so no complaints from me in terms of that. There's also a lot of little random booklets as well that was with this scrapbook, so it's kind of fun to look at too. Some of these older things from back in the day. And again, the scrapbook itself, some of these images actually do have names, so that's always super helpful for us. This is John Orphan, William Maddox, David Ringo, Mrs. Ralph Kimfaus, and William Knoll. So names attached with images as well. Let's see here. And lastly, we have some newsletters from the group. So the Vital Volunteer just kind of gives an overview of what the group was doing during that time. So they have some stats here about how many people they helped during the year. There's lots of different information about different volunteer opportunities at the time. I know they had a lot of people would have a listing of names of folks, and they would say, you know, this person needs help with yard work, this person just needs groceries, so they would connect people with the community to go out and help some of the senior citizens in the area get that kind of stuff done. But again, you know, this actually has some names as well, and it's also birthdays, so for genealogy purposes, this is actually pretty helpful. You know, in these newsletters for groups like the Senior Services or other civic groups in the area, you might not think about a newsletter being a good source or a hint for your genealogy, but, you know, you might not have known, you know, you might know a relative's name but not have known when they were born or what birth month they had, so coming across something like this randomly might help you out actually in your research. So little areas or different objects you might not think that would help you in your research. Sometimes it can be helpful, so it's just a good way to kind of get you know, thinking out of the box in terms of your genealogy research and kind of implementing different things we have in the department beyond books and databases, things like that. Other, you know, collections like archives in the back here. Lastly, there are some names of members mentioned here as well. So again, a lot of these newsletters, not only for this group, but other groups that you might know relatives were involved in, are really helpful too. So that is just a really fast overview of what the collection holds. There were some plaques as well and VHS tapes, but the bulk of the collection were items like this. So if, again, you know, we might want to put some of these items online. If you know names of people, we would love to get your input, and if you think this would be helpful for you in your genealogy research, you're always welcome to come to the department and take a look at the collection itself. So that is it for this video for Adventures in the Archives, and make sure you check back for more videos featuring archives and special collections here in the department.